Now, still on science class, another subject we need to look at and check out is chemistry. Chemistry, yes, chemistry is a wonderful subject. Though that's my area, study chemistry. But some people always think, that if you study chemistry, you are going to end up as teacher. It's not always true. Though I will also talk in that line. Chemistry itself is like biology and physics. They are what we call the basic science. The other ones, by the time you get to university, the other ones are applied science. Other ones depend on these courses. It's just that there are a lot of that the other course that you are seeing, that medicine, pharmacy, they are application of all these sciences, application of all these science. And what does that mean? That even people studying these courses, they also have a bit of all these things in them. By the time you go to higher level, or postgraduate, that's when you now start, you see that everything is interwoven. So that's not where I'm going. But where I'm going is that the chemistry as a subject for WAEC, if you go to that complete WAEC study, go on that platform, you will see chemistry has three aspects, three papers. It's also a core science, and it covers physical, organic, inorganic chemistry. Paper three also covers practical, like the other one, which is biology. Paper three practicals too, for school they will inform them ahead and for them to prepare. Now, this paper two is 50 marks. It's 50 marks, which has three aspects, and those three aspects is compulsory. You will see titration there. Some of us always think that titration is all about acid and base. No, there are different types of titration. So some of us that study chemistry, there is acid-base titration, acidometry. There is precipitation titration, that's agentometry. There's conductometry, that's conductivity is involved. There is redox titration. So sometimes at that level, O level, because it's O level, all those ones I'm saying is higher level. So what you have is acid and base titration, then redox. Maybe one of these days I will focus and talk about titration itself, because you may think it's about acid and base, and the strategy is that even when it comes to acid and base, you have to look at whether it's strong or weak. The strength will determine what will be in the burette. And then when it comes to redox, that's when you have potassium permanganate at that level, potassium dichromate 6. So titration, titer value, calculation of mole, that's one aspect. The other one is qualitative. The first one is quantitative, knowing the quantity. That's when we are talking about concentration. The second one is about knowing the quality. That's what is there. Sorry for using that word. What is there? Is it a cation or anion? Because a compound is made up of the positive and the negative ions. So when you're identifying the cations, don't let me go. Maybe I'm doing teaching now. When you identify the cations, which is positive, you use the negative to find the positive. That's when you use the base. No, you use the base, and the base there is either sodium hydroxide or ammonia. Base is the strong, ammonia is the weak. So when it comes to identifying the anion, the negative, you use the positive. That in that way, you are using what? You are using the acid. As in you are using the HCl or like that. So then you can also, eat to find those ones that have gases. So that takes us to the third one, which talks about some practical experiment. There are some topics that have practical focus at that level. There are some, they are practical. There are some, chemistry also is practical, but there are some they can't bring into at that level. So those are the three aspects. If you're able to score 50-50 in a way, because it's something I've experienced before. So you can hit 40-45 in this one, because the first two, that question 1 is 20 marks, question 2 is 20 marks, question 3 is 10 marks. You're able to get the title value, do your calculations, is what you record that you will be taking, and you write those things, get all those tests, observation, inference very well. You hit 40 there. Then the other one that has to do with theoretical knowledge, whether color change or gas, you may hit up to 5 or there, or say if not close to 9 marks there. I want you to buy. There's a book I'm putting up. I've put up already. Chemistry A plus for O level. Get that book. It gives you the strategy on how to, not only in practical, in other ones, how to approach chemistry at this level. When I talk about strategy, I just release 1 or 2 things now, And those that are writing WAEC, they will know that yes, this is it. And those who have done WAEC, you know, maybe because some people will say there's no short, it's strategy. Understanding the whole thing, will give you confidence on where to touch and where to avoid, what to go into. So get that book, Chemistry A Plus. Is right there on my page. I've done a video about it, and I want you to also, if you need it, it's a downloadable book. I can send the link to you. Just inbox me. So let's continue. So you have the theory, which is 25 marks. You have the objective, which is also 25 marks. You can see 25. Doing writing objective, which is 50 marks, which covers all the entire syllabus. And writing practical, that is, practical in school, at school level, is 2 hours. And then the alternative practical, which is private, is also, if you're able to do practical and objective, what you have there, you already get credit. You're not going for theory, but you don't try that, please, because if you are aiming 50, just know that you may be eating, like, if you do very, very well, 45 or 40 or 30, out of that 50%. But if you are aiming higher than that, you will hit above that 50. Don't focus on credit. Focus on A. Focus on getting A. So the theory part of it, as you are seeing on the screen, is there are 2 sections. Section A, there, compulsory short answer structured questions, that is 25 marks. And the section B, you will need to answer 3 questions. Those 3 questions are 75 marks. That means 1 question is 25 marks. 1 question is 25 marks. So, and that is something. And it runs for 2 hours. You're able to do theory and objective very well. Even practicals and theory, you will hit A1. And put a little bit effort in objective. So let's go to topics that frequently appear in exam. Atomic structure is one of it. If you see, have been doing some video. I did that of JAM. You should expect that of WAEC will also come. Atomic structure, don't joke with proton, neutron, electron, isotopes, and all those things. Even in that my book, I talk about all those. Chemical bonding is different from atomic structure. That's when you talk about ionic, covalent, metallic, the weak bonding, the cross dot structure, and all the rest. So the stoichiometry, I'm more concerned. Don't joke with stoichiometry. Don't joke with stoichiometry when you are talking about molar mass, Avogadro's number, percentage composition, empirical formula. Please, acid-base titration, it appears even in theory, it appears in practical. Acid cut across, just talking about acid and base, then salt. You are talking about pH here, minus logarithm of concentration of hydrogen ion. You're talking about neutralization, talking about salt, what of buffer solution. So electrolysis, that's electrochemistry, also will come out. Electrochemistry is not only about electrolysis, it also cut across electrochemical cells, standard electropotential. Periodic table, no. You don't joke with that. Periodic table, element in the group, periodic trends, all those things, don't joke with them, please. Chemical equilibrium, organic chemistry. You always see organic chemistry every year. You see about the hydrocarbons, the paraffin, the olefins, that's the alkane. You always see them in the functional groups, the alkanoic acid, and all those things, naming and the structures and their reactions. At the level of level, there is a level. By the time you go higher to JAM level, it has its own aspect too. So the chemical kinetics, that's the rate of reaction, rate at which the reactant consumes and the product is formed. So chemical reaction is there, qualitative analysis is there. Chemical reaction can also, be bringing chemical thermodynamics. That one can. So titration calculations, you should also be acquainted with that. Then you can also talk about environmental chemistry. That's when you talk about air pollution, maybe a little bit of water pollution or purification of water, then nuclear chemistry, a little bit. So know all those frequently appeared. If you're able to get yourself into this thing, then you can say other ones. There are other ones, so maybe separation techniques and here and there in chemistry, metal, industrial chemistry, that's the extraction of metals and the rest. So you can bring all those things in. So you check the website and see for yourself, even the addition of chemical equilibrium and polymer, you know. So what are the A strategy? Because what we are concerned about here is the strategy to get A. You see, we are not looking at B strategy or C strategy, because you aim for the top, you know. Even if you aim for the top, if you now say you fall a little bit, God forbid, at least you will land maybe B2 or B3. So you should A1, and that's the strategy I always use. I've used it before, and you know, there are some things I don't need to be saying, and those students, they did very well. So equation marks every chemical equation. When you see chemical equation, you know, you have, when you balance it, you get mark, and you put symbols. For example, you are reacting something and they are solid, you must put the state of matter, whether it's solid or aqueous or liquid or gas. You know, balance of equation is a mark. Titration mastery 2, practice complete titration, product reading, and dilution factor, that's C1V1, that's the concentration times volume equals to mole. You can put it C1V1 whichever way. So qualitative analysis table, practice it too. The reagent that will be mixed for you to get the observation and the inference that's supposed to follow, that you're supposed to observe. What of organic chemistry? The name and reactions. You need to know the IUPAC name. You need to focus on that. Key reactions, and you know, the like addition reaction, substitution reaction, and the addition has different names. It could be addition of hydrogen hydrogenation, addition of halogen halogenation, you know, like that, or oxidation, as the case may be. What of periodic trend, atomic radius increase down the group, in you know, increase down the group, decrease across the period, you know, like that. Ionization energy, electronegativity, as the case may be. So, and when it comes to objective, the short answers, 10 short answers, you'll be able to answer the short answers first before you start saying you're answering difficult ones. So, you know, section here of paper 2 has 10 short questions, 2.5 marks. So this text, definition, equation, and simple application, never skip any. Each of them is achievable. So look at all these things, practice them, and you see how we go about it. I see you in the next video. There's more to talk about. Thank you, and God bless. Bye.